I am 70 years old and prefer to keep my distance from people. Here's why. Hello everyone. Turning 70 is a significant milestone, one I never imagined would come so quickly. One day, you're in your 20s, full of dreams and energy, and the next, you wake up in a body that seems to be constantly changing, burdened with years and experiences. Life moves forward, priorities shift, and reaching this stage, I've noticed something peculiar about myself. I've started to distance myself from people. This wasn't always the case. I was someone who was extremely sociable, always surrounded by friends and family, attending gatherings, contributing to community activities, and being that reliable pillar for everyone. However, at some point, everything began to change. At first, I thought it was something only happening to me. Now I know it's a situation much more common than I ever thought. Let me tell you why. Time takes on a more significant value than ever. At 70, I perceive time from a completely different perspective. It's no longer just the constant ticking of the clock or the passing of the days, but the certainty that time is limited. In my youth, it seemed endless, like an infinite river flowing toward a distant and uncertain horizon. I wasted it without hesitation on trivial conversations, purposeless relationships, and activities that brought neither happiness nor meaning. Back then, everything seemed insignificant. Now, every moment feels like a gift, and I don't want to waste it. Time has stopped being just a reference, it's become an ally, sometimes kind, other times harsh, but always there to remind me of the importance of appreciating what I still have. It's the serene mornings, when I hold my hot cup of coffee and watch the sunrise, enjoying the warmth that filters through my fingers. It's the afternoons, when I walk long paths and listen to the soft crunch of leaves beneath my steps, grateful for the energy my legs still carry. And it's the nights, in my favorite chair, where I find myself reflecting on the moments of a full and well-lived life. I used to fill my days by surrounding myself with people and accumulating activities, believing that the more I did, the more meaningful my life would be. However, over time, I discovered it's the opposite. What matters isn't the number of things you do or the people around you, but the depth and value of those experiences and connections. Today, I am more selective about how and with whom I share my time. I enjoy a quiet conversation with someone who truly understands me more than being at a crowded event, where I end up feeling like a stranger surrounded by unknown faces. Relationships evolve, just like us. Over time, bonds change in ways that sometimes surprise us. Some strengthen, enriched by shared experiences and deeper understanding, while others fade slowly, like a book you left unfinished and never picked up again. At 70, I've come to understand that not all relationships are meant to be permanent, and that's okay. What I've learned is that, at this stage, the people who remain in your life are usually the ones who truly matter. In my youth, relationships were at the center of my life. I was surrounded by friends, co-workers, neighbors, and acquaintances, always striving to strengthen those bonds and feel part of something bigger. I made sure to remember every birthday, attend all gatherings, and do everything I could to keep others happy. However, over the years, I realized how much effort it took to maintain connections that didn't always offer something valuable in return. Life has a way of trimming the branches of your social circle. People move, get caught up in commitments, or undergo changes that make it hard to stay in touch. Some relationships end with sadness, while others simply fade over time. In the past, I used to take these losses personally, wondering what I could have done to preserve them. Now, I understand that life's course takes each of us down different paths. People come into your life for different reasons, a season, a reason, or for life. Understanding which applies to each case has brought me peace. Additionally, it's not only others who evolve, we do too. I am no longer the same person I was at 40 or even 60. My priorities have changed. Today, I value simplicity, kindness, and authenticity more than ever. I no longer have room for drama or relationships that feel unbalanced. I used to think that being available for everyone made me a good friend or relative, but I've learned that authentic relationships are the ones where there is reciprocity. They don't drain you, they enrich you. 3. Knowing how to let go. An important part of this phase of life is learning to let go, letting go of regrets for lost moments, letting go of resentments that once seemed essential, and letting go of the pressure to do it all. I've discovered that it's okay to slow down and simply exist. There's no urgency anymore, no competition to reach a goal. The most valuable moments are not found in great successes, but in the small daily joys, a favorite melody, a gentle breeze, a genuine laugh. Yes, time now holds a deeper value than ever, but it also feels fuller. I've stopped chasing it and started enjoying it. By doing so, I've found a peace I never imagined I could reach. At this point in my life, I don't want to let a single moment slip by, not because I fear it will run out, but because I finally understand how truly precious it is. I used to worry about unreciprocated loyalty or kindness taken for granted. All these experiences left marks, but they also helped me learn to set boundaries, recognize warning signs, and most importantly, care for my own well-being. Now, I invest my time and effort in people who strengthen me, not in those who drag me down. Despite having learned these lessons, I still feel a deep nostalgia for the relationships I've lost, a friend who once felt like a brother, but whom I haven't heard from in years, a relative whose life took another path. It's a mix of emotions when I remember those bonds, but I've come to value them for what they were, valuable moments that helped shape the person I am now. Trust becomes more complex over time. As you live longer, you realize how vulnerable it can be. In my youth, I gave my trust freely, believing in the goodness of people and their good intentions. However, as life progressed, I experienced betrayals that made me more cautious. Once trust is broken, it's hard to restore, and today, at 70 years old, I'm much more selective about who I allow into my inner circle. It's not that I'm resentful or upset, I'm not, but life has taught me to be cautious. Over the years, I've had disappointments from people I never imagined would hurt me, a friend who seemed more concerned with what he could get from me than who I really am, a business partner who put his own gain before our shared vision, and even family members who, for reasons I may never fully understand, distanced themselves in ways that left me questioning what went wrong. These experiences put me at a crossroads: isolate myself completely or face new relationships with a mix of openness and caution. I chose the latter, but that caution comes at a price. When someone new enters my life, my first reaction isn't excitement or curiosity, but distrust. I ask myself, what do they want? What's their intention? I don't like thinking this way, but it arises out of necessity. However, I've also discovered that trust doesn't just mean trusting others, but also trusting yourself, trusting your instincts when something doesn't feel right, trusting your ability to distance yourself from harmful people, no matter how long they've been part of your life, and trusting that it's okay to guard your heart, even if that means setting boundaries. Trust remains a complex issue, though. In recent years, I've been fortunate to find people who have renewed, even if just slightly, my hope in human goodness, a generous stranger who helped me when I dropped something in the store, a neighbor who checks on me when the weather is severe. These moments make me think that, even though it's harder for me to trust now, it's not impossible. At this stage of life, I've come to understand that trust will always be a fragile balance. It's not about building walls so high that no one can get through, but about creating entrances strong enough to repel harm, but open enough to let love, kindness, and connection in when the time is right. In the end, relationships and trust have simplified in their complexity. I deeply appreciate the few people I have complete trust in, and I set clear boundaries with those who haven't earned it. Though I'll never trust as easily as I once did, I've learned to value the relationships I do have much more. At 70, that feels like a true gift worth cherishing. The world feels different now. At 70, everything seems very different from what I knew when I was younger. Not only has the pace of life changed, but so has the very essence of how we relate to each other. Sometimes, I stop and wonder where that warmth and simplicity in our connections with others have gone. I was raised in an era where neighbors were like an extended family. We knew each other's names, visited unannounced for a cup of coffee, and were always ready to help before anyone had to ask. Families gathered often, not out of obligation, but out of sincere affection and joy. Relationships flowed naturally. There was a sense of community that didn't require constant effort to sustain. Now, it seems like everyone is so absorbed in chasing something, whether it's success, recognition, or simply the fast-paced rhythm of contemporary life, that these connections have faded. Unannounced visits are less frequent, and conversations often feel rushed, as if we're all racing against an invisible clock. Even within the same families, the bonds sometimes seem weaker, strained by both physical and emotional distances. Technology, with all its advantages, has played a significant role in this shift. Don't get me wrong, I greatly appreciate being able to video call my grandchildren or stay connected with old friends through social media. However, at the same time, I can't help but feel that these screens have created a sort of wall between us. There's something irreplaceable in being face-to-face with someone, hearing the nuances of their voice, and experiencing the warmth of their company. The constant flood of notifications, news updates, and endless scrolling can be exhausting. It's as if the world has become louder and, at the same time, more isolated. There are moments when I simply want to disconnect from it all, turn off my phone, and retreat into the silence of my own thoughts. In the past, the idea of spending a night alone felt intolerable, as if loneliness was something to be avoided at all costs. However, now I understand that it is not something to fear, but to appreciate. There is a big difference between being alone and feeling alone. Loneliness is an emptiness, a desire for connection that seems distant. On the other hand, solitude is fulfillment, a quiet satisfaction in one's own company. At 70, I have realized that the most rewarding moments in my life come from simply sitting in silence, letting the world fade away as I focus on the present. In solitude, I have rediscovered the joy of simple pleasures, sitting by the window with a cup of tea, watching the birds fluttering around the feeder, feeling the warmth of the sun on my face as I take a morning walk, listening to the crackling of the fire on a cold night. Those small moments, they fill me with a calm that no room full of people or loud event could ever provide. Solitude has also given me the opportunity to reflect. At this stage in life, memories have become both a refuge and a source of lessons. I find myself reliving moments from the past, not with regrets, but with gratitude for the experiences that have shaped me. In the silence of my thoughts, I have reconciled with aspects that were once difficult to understand. This does not mean I have completely disconnected from the world. I still find joy in seeing the faces of my grandchildren light up when they visit me, catching up with old friends, or getting involved in causes that I am passionate about. However, those interactions now hold a deeper value, as they are the result of a choice, not an obligation. I no longer feel the need to accept every invitation or continue relationships that drain me. Solitude has allowed me to place greater value on lasting connections. When I am with others, I focus entirely on the moment, fully enjoying what we share. There is no rush, no interruptions, only the pleasure of being together, even if only for a short time. I believe solitude teaches you to love yourself in a way that no external approval can. It shows you that your worth does not depend on how many people accompany you or how full your social calendar is. It is in those moments of stillness that you realize you are enough just as you are. At 70, I have understood that being alone does not mean feeling isolated, but rather being strong. It is a decision to step away from the noise, care for your peace, and focus on what truly matters. And in that decision, I have discovered a deeper, more lasting happiness than I ever thought possible. Why I distance myself from people now. At this point in my life, distancing myself from certain people doesn't come from bitterness or resentment, but from a desire for peace. After 7 decades of experiences, lessons, and sometimes difficult moments, I have come to accept that not all relationships are meant to last, and not all connections justify the effort they demand. It is a lesson that, though it mixes liberation with a touch of nostalgia, I have embraced not out of regret, but out of necessity. For much of my life, I put others before myself. I gave my time, energy, and affection selflessly, almost without expecting anything in return. I wanted to be valued, to feel useful, and to become someone trustworthy for those around me. For years, that seemed like the right thing to do. I liked feeling indispensable, being there for those around me, being the reliable support that others could cling to. However, life has a way of showing you how far you should go, even if it sometimes takes years to understand that lesson. I have been let down by people I trusted, hurt those I loved, and worn myself out in relationships that demanded far more than they offered. There were times when I overlooked warning signs because I desperately wanted to find the good in someone. There were also moments when I stayed in situations that drained my happiness, thinking that was what true loyalty meant. Now, at 70, I see things more clearly. Distancing myself from certain people doesn't mean I have lost faith in humanity, it simply reflects that I have learned to care for my own emotional balance. I no longer feel the need to cling to harmful relationships or participate in situations that drain me. I have replaced the noise of social demands with the peace of enriching solitude, and I have never experienced such serenity. I distance myself from those who fill their lives, and mine, with unnecessary conflict. I stay away from people who always seek to be the center of attention, who never ask how I feel, or if they do, don't seem to genuinely care about the answer. I distance myself from those who take my kindness for granted, believing it has no limits. And above all, I avoid any situation that makes me feel less than I am worth. This does not mean I have isolated myself completely. I still value the relationships that truly matter, the friends and family who have remained over time, those who are present not because they seek something, but because they truly care about me. Those bonds are precious to me, and I cherish them with all the love I still have to offer. However, I no longer feel the need to spread myself too thin. A smaller, yet more meaningful circle is more than enough. In a way, distancing myself from people has helped me value them more. When I spend time with others, it is because I truly want to, not because I feel obligated. Conversations become more meaningful, and moments more unforgettable, as they are the result of a choice, not an imposition. Does this sound familiar? I often wonder if people my age experience the same things. Is it something that only happens to me, or is it that as time goes by, we become more demanding? Do the frustrations and disappointments of life lead us to be more cautious with our feelings, seeking above all to protect our peace of mind? Looking back, I realize that much of my youth was spent trying to meet other people's expectations. I wanted to be everything to everyone, a loyal friend, a reliable partner, a constant support for my family. However, over time, I began to realize how exhausting that was and how much of my essence had been left behind along the way. I no longer apologize for protecting my time and energy. I no longer feel regret for preferring solitude over company. And I no longer question if something is wrong with me for doing so. For giving myself the necessary space to breathe, think, and simply exist. If you're 60, 70 years old, or older, perhaps you are making similar decisions. You might have started distancing yourself from relationships that no longer benefit you, or from circumstances that leave you feeling drained instead of rejuvenated. Perhaps you've realized that you prefer quality over quantity when it comes to the people around you. It's not an easy change. At times, it feels like you're leaving parts of yourself behind. However, the truth is that this phase of life is about letting go of what no longer fits. It's about making room for calm, happiness, and the things that truly matter. If this sounds familiar, I want you to know you're not alone. There's no one-size-fits-all guide to navigating this stage of life, nor a single method that works for everyone. Some people feel fulfilled in wide social circles, even when they've reached an advanced age, and that's wonderful for them. But if you're like me and find peace in solitude and closer relationships, that's perfectly valid too. At 70, I've come to understand that it's okay to let go of what no longer adds value to your life. It's valid to put your well-being first, care for your peace of mind, and live by your own rules. By doing so, I've discovered a freedom I never imagined, the freedom to be who I am, without reservations or apologies. If you notice that you're drifting away from some people or prefer solitude more often, don't interpret it as a loss, but as an opportunity. It's a true gift to have the freedom to create a life that feels good to you, even if it's not what others envision. Let us celebrate this moment in life, a time of introspection, evolution, and the courage to live authentically. May we all find the serenity we deserve by embracing this moment. At 70, I've learned to see life not as a series of endings, but as a sequence of new beginnings. Each phase of life offers its own lessons, challenges, and beauty, and this one is no exception. This period, marked by its serene simplicity and deep reflection, seems to be a culmination, a moment to accept who I am and let go of what no longer matters. When you're young, you often live with a sense of hurry, a constant drive to do more, achieve more, and become something more. There's an internal energy that pushes you forward, fueled by the idea that the future is full of limitless opportunities. However, as time passes, that sense of hurry starts to fade. You stop searching for what is beyond, and begin to appreciate what you have here. It's not about giving up, it's about redirecting your focus. This chapter is about simplicity, enjoying those small moments that often go unnoticed, the sunlight filtering through the window, the laughter of a grandchild, the comforting hug of a loved one. It's those moments that keep me grounded, reminding me of what truly matters. It's also a time for reflection. At 70, I look back on the life I've lived, not with regret, but with gratitude. There were achievements that brought me satisfaction, failures that gave me strength, and disappointments that transformed me in ways I couldn't understand at the time. Every experience, no matter how insignificant it seemed, has woven the fabric of my existence. This chapter is not just about reflecting on the past, it also invites me to look toward the future. I feel a comforting peace as I realize that I still have time to create, discover, and evolve. It's a time to focus on what brings me happiness, whether it's tending to a garden, trying a new activity, or simply enjoying a moment of calm. One of the most beautiful aspects of this chapter is the freedom it brings. The freedom to release expectations, both those placed upon me by others and those I've imposed on myself. I no longer feel the pressure to prove anything or conform to imposed standards of success. Instead, I've accepted the idea that simply existing is enough. This chapter has also shown me how valuable it is to know how to say no. No to commitments that drain me, no to relationships that no longer contribute, and no to the pressure to be everything to everyone. By doing this, I've made room for what truly matters: peace, love, and connection. With the passing of years comes a form of courage, the ability to live authentically and without apology. I'm no longer concerned about being judged for my decisions or misunderstood for what I do. At 70, I've earned the right to put my well-being first, express my truth, and live by my own rules. This chapter is also marked by gratitude. Gratitude for the life I've lived, the people I've loved, and the memories I've created. Gratitude for the strength that has carried me this far. Throughout the challenging moments and the joys that have brightened the good days, I feel gratitude for simply being here, with more life ahead and many more lessons to learn. So, what does it truly mean to embrace this chapter? It means accepting the past without being anchored in it, welcoming the present with open arms, and looking to the future with optimism. It means discovering beauty in the ordinary, valuing the relationships that truly matter, and letting go of anything that doesn't bring peace. It's not always easy. There are moments of loneliness, of doubt about what's to come, of missing people and places that were once essential parts of my life. But even in those moments, I feel a quiet strength, reminder that I've overcome many things and possess everything I need within myself to keep moving forward. Reaching 70, I've come to understand that life isn't measured so much by great achievements, but by those small meaningful moments that shape our everyday. This chapter, though different from the previous ones, does not lose its significance. In many ways, it seems to be the most genuine, sincere, and peaceful of my journey. Accepting this chapter isn't about settling for limitations but recognizing the opportunities that still exist. It's an act of honoring the life I've lived, while staying open to what the future holds. And, above all, it's about living with intensity, depth, and no regrets, day by day. Final reflections. At 70, life has shown me that what truly matters isn't the number of achievements or possessions you accumulate, but the value of what truly counts, the moments lived, the relationships, and inner serenity. I've found happiness in simplicity, strength in the quiet of solitude, and satisfaction in focusing on the essentials. Distancing myself from certain people isn't an act of resentment, but a way to protect the peace I've worked so hard to find. If you're on a similar journey, it's okay to choose what brings you peace. This chapter is ours to enjoy in whatever way fills us with happiness. Here we are, living authentically and enjoying every moment life gives us. I'm grateful that you're part of this journey. These lessons are meant to inspire you to live with fullness and authenticity. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Take a moment to reflect and share something you've learned and plan to implement in your life. Let's support each other on this path to integrate these truths. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment with a 1, if not, feel free to comment with a 0. We greatly value your opinion. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and let's celebrate the life we've lived, our way.